Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a flesh and blood podcast breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Abby, Jordan, and Logan.
Hello, and welcome to episode 42 of Flesh and Pod. My name is Jordan. I am joined as always by Logan. Abby is out sick today, so we have a special guest, Matt Flake DiMarco from Flesh and Blood Pro Tour fame. We're going to start off with our normal what you did in Flesh and Blood this week. Matt, let's start with you. You've been up in Flesh and Blood, buddy. How you been? I haven't seen you in a while.
It has been a while. You kind of threw this at me. I got home from my train ride from Ottawa. Trains, planes, and automobiles, but it was mostly trains and feet that I used. So I got home, and literally about an hour later, I got a message from you saying, "Hey, would you like to bring us down and join our little crew here?" And I said, "Absolutely." If there's one thing that I am known for, it's trying my best to take my own internal disappointments and dissatisfaction with my own performances and really just beacon it out to everybody. So I am here to do that. I want to bring you all down to my level to make you guys feel just how disappointed I am with my weekend at Canadian Nationals. And we can definitely dig into that. But what did I get up to? Well, yeah, Canadian Nationals is essentially what was my weekend. And I will say that I am immensely proud and happy for a lot of people that were there who are friends of mine, who have become closer friends of mine over the course of the year. And Tarek, who has always been very kind and generous with his time whenever I'm asking him questions or coming on the podcast or just strategic, questions. He's always been very transparent and open and generous with his time and his insights with me. So seeing him win is a really good way to end an otherwise, in my opinion, relatively forgettable weekend.
Tarek is one of those guys. Is it Tarek or Tarek? I think my Midwest is coming through.
Tarek, excuse me. Okay. So Tarek is one of those guys that when he talks about Flesh and Blood, I realize how bad I am at this game. Like his draft breakdowns with you guys at the Pro Tour, him on your show Instant Speed, I regularly hear him say things and I go, I would have never thought about that. Let's add that to the repertoire. Okay, what other shit does this guy know that I have no idea about? It's terrifying. So that's really cool that you get to kind of be around that, Yeah, I always say I am skill adjacent is what I am. I am a
skill adjacent-esque.
Yeah, more or less, exactly. I'm skill-ish, kind of like I've sort of absorbed it. Like how Madonna eventually had a British accent because she was married to Guy Ritchie for a while?
No, I don't know that.
Yes, I do. But
yeah, somebody out there will get this reference. That's me with skill. If I'm around it enough, eventually it kind of absorbs into my skin. However, if, eventually I come back to my own devices and then and I'm right back down to saying, well, fuck this and fuck that. And, all the refinement just goes out the window.
Jesus. Logan, what'd you get up to in Flesh and Blood this week? We'll dive deeper into Matt's Nationals experience.
Yeah, my voice is a crack show right now. I was at an American football game, Matthew, and
the
was
real
screaming
one,
like
a
fucking maniac, and so my voice is a little on the rough side. I do feel like I'm deep throating a cactus right now, so I'm going to be pounding water instead of booze for once, which is awkward and fuckery for me, but. Flesh and Blood, I went and I played an Armory for bullshit fun, played some CC. I don't even remember what I was playing. Never mind. I was playing Azalea. It did not go well.
See, and when you said crack show, in reference to your voice, I thought the first thing that popped into my mind was he went to an Amy Winehouse concert.
That is a crack show. Yes.
Yeah.
But she's been dead for a hot minute.
Hey, she died in the early 2010s, right?
Yeah.
Yes. That's
her story. Right. I don't know very much about it, but she is one of those ultra talented people that I think just was absolutely abused and exploited to all hell. And,
she's 27 Club though, right?
I think she was. I believe so.
She was.
I think she's 27 Club. Yep.
27.
And for people that don't know the 27 Club, there is a pantheon of great musical artists that all died at 27 years old. Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin. It's a fucking list.
Was it Buddy Holly, I think, as well?
I think Buddy might have been, yeah, Buddy was 27. Yeah, it's a you look like Buddy Holly. That's a Weezer song.
There's so many of these. What the hell?
Yes.
I
think
just
it was
Googled this. I
James
had
Dean
no
as well.
Google this.
Yeah, I had no idea that this was
All
a thing. Like, I knew our artist died young, and it was tragic because, like, we as a society like abused the shit out of them. But like, what the hell?
I think Shannon Hoon from Blind Melon was also 27.
There's a ton of them. Yeah,
it's an incredible list.
Some
Jesus.
who probably should have, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, I was to riff on a little bit of Blake's Jesus. Yes, Keith Richards is still alive. To riff a little bit on Flake's skill adjacent, I was just playtesting mostly with friend of the podcast, friend of humanity, Dagan White, and it's like we're sitting down playing mirrors, and he sits down, he's like, okay, well, here's the deck for the mirror, how it's set up. Now I want you to play without me telling you what to do and see if you can figure it out. And I just got fucking wrecked. And he just goes, okay, that was completely wrong. Here's what you should be doing. And then I turn around and won, and I'm like, all right, fine, fuck, okay. I need babysat through this game. Is basically
Got me. Yeah.
I just need comprehensive notes, and I will make sure you get to the place you need to get to on time. Then that's what I'm going to do with this. So that's
Dagan is another one of those guys.
Yep. Just get the shit kicked out of me on a regular basis, and then he's like, "Yeah, this is where you fucked up." Great, thanks, but I am thankful. That's all I did. Otherwise, yeah, I went to I even did Armory on my. This is great because I just turned 42, and it's episode 42.
Oh wow!
Happy birthday.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah. It's weird because the Instant Speed podcast and I have the same birthday.
Do you really?
September 15th was your first episode.
Oh my god, I missed it?
Yeah.
What the hell? Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's going to be mentioned on this coming episode, I guess. Well, actually, that's not true. Today's the 19th, so I suppose you said the 15th? What the hell? The 15th, we published an episode. God damn it.
That's so funny.
Whoops.
I don't pay attention to anything, man. I am so clueless.
I mean, we all are, really. That's why we have podcasts and not doing anything else productive with our time.
Wrong.
Well, whatever. Jordan, what did you do?
I didn't really do a whole lot. I think I might have played an Armory on Tuesday when our last episode released. It was just a quick little 2 or 3 rounder. I had some new people come in from the Magic side, which was pretty cool. There are some new Armory spots launching in Columbus like this week. We're adding 2 new stores, so we now have 4 nights of the week you can play an Armory here, which is pretty sweet. The 1-year anniversary of our show is coming up on, can you guess, Logan? First year anniversary?
10 weeks from now, which would be 70 days if my math is right. But then 70
10
days
times 7, very good.
2, shut up. Plus 2.
Oh, Jesus, bring out the abacus.
Fuck off and die, you bitch. Like November 19th?
No, December 7th.
Ah, shit.
This is the release of the first episode.
Really? December 7th we did that?
I don't know. Is that a thing people do?
Sure.
Well, you're not Christmas shopping till the 24th, right? So you definitely have time.
I worked in retail management. I Christmas shop basically at the exact last moment I have to.
See, the pro plays the Christmas shop all year, so I've been buying like 3-year-old toys all year. It's gas.
I mean, if you have a 3-year-old to buy it for, it's great.
Yeah.
But part of it is the excitement, like the actual panic of, oh yeah, like my grandmother would love fresh windshield wiper blades. Like this is all that's available, so this is what you're getting. Congratulations! I hope you own hope you own a 2004 Cherokee because this is what it fits. Like there's no other.
Arizona had on sale.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was this or a Miata, and you're definitely not a Miata person.
I mean, do you get them the beaded the seat covers too, just in case that they're into that?
It's my grandmother, man. She'd make her own. She'd be like, "That looks like knitting. I can do that. Don't waste your money."
I am no longer going to make the dual purpose joke of those beads. No,
you can't. You absolutely cannot. No,
December 7th is Pearl Harbor Day. Jordan,
hey, I want to address something here because I listened to your show and I don't say anything, but there's a lot of slander going on about the fact that I don't listen to your show and I hear my name in it like now and then, and I don't say anything. I have sort of sat idly by as we have sort of perused our friendship together. However, I want to just go on record that I do listen to your show. I do. I listen to Tommy's show. I like the one thing about it is legitimately, I wish I could listen to everything, which I can't. So I can't listen to every episode, but I do, when I can, put your show on because it feels like I'm hanging out with you two doofuses, which I enjoy doing otherwise. So,
you know what I really would hate is if you tweeted to 3,000 followers about our show. You're right. I'm so glad you stayed silent. That really would be absolutely miserable. Yeah. Oh man, Flake told 3,000 people about our podcast. Oh, damn.
Hey man, when I get 3,000 people listening to my own show, then that's when I'll start greasing your wheels. Okay,
that's fair. Speaking of a bunch of people caring about a thing, UK Nationals got canceled. That's what they call a segue. UK Nationals got canceled this weekend because of the death of Queen Elizabeth. Then it got uncanceled. Because, like, as you do, LSS was worried we might have too much time to plan for something, so they did a little switcheroo. And they canceled and uncanceled, and from what I understand, the event went fine logistically as a tournament. But what did you guys make of this, like, cancellation in the first place, and then the decision to unwind? And what do you think about what happened? We talked about this in Discord all week, and people are split. So I'm curious about from two people whose opinions I respect on this stuff. What do you guys think?
Well, wouldn't it have been awesome if they uncanceled it because the Queen just jumped out of her coffin and was like, "Surprise!
Where's my corgis, bitches?"
Yeah, that's
Chuck, you're gonna be king, you dumb bitch.
Yeah. Like, psych! April Fools! And I can do it now because I'm the Queen, bitch! Like that. I thought that would have been possibly the best. Okay, so it's no secret LSS is not the best at putting things. I think that they've actually cleaned up their act a little bit when it comes to giving a lot more lead time for events. A lot of it has sort of been you get caught by surprise, and a lot of it is not their fault to a degree. Like, but I think that this is one that I think that they definitely should have probably. You just stick to your guns, because at the same time, I don't know what New Zealand's relationship is with the monarchy. Like, I suspect that, like, I don't know if they're big fans. There are people in Canada who are so horny for the monarchy that it just blows my mind. I do not understand this obsession with it. It's such an antiquated and bullshit kind of establishment. I thought that, you know what? She's passed away. I knew nothing really about her. I don't care much about it. I've walked past Buckingham Palace and said, wow, what a colossal waste of money. However, that said, there are people who care about it and whatnot, but it's not everybody. So, like in Canada, for the record, today, by the way, is supposed to be a national holiday. They've announced it as a day of mourning for the Queen. And everybody was like, no, we're not closing. Like, everybody in Canada, except for government employees, were like, no, we don't care. Like, we're open for business. Like, we don't give a crap. So, like, I don't know what it is with New Zealand, if they have a better relationship, but a lot of people I spoke to in the UK were like, yeah, we don't care. Like, we don't care. Like, it was more of a pain in the ass to postpone it for a few weeks and then put it back. I thought that it should have just been left alone. The best thing that they did was just snapped aside a day later, say, no, we're before more damage is done, we're just going to bring it back. Because there's a lot of people who would not be able to who would have not been able to make it to the other one. One of my friends, a friend of mine by the name of Liam Holden, who was with this Flesh and Blood journey with me since we both migrated from Gwent to this game. We were both on the journey of being 2-4 at Road to Nationals to then top 8ing major tournaments to being at Nationals, etc. He top 8'd that tournament. He top 8'd the UK, and he was not going to be able to make it 3 weeks later or two or 3 weeks later to the other one, to the makeup date. So good thing they put it back, because he would not have been able to make it and thus would not have top 8'd and would not have, continued his exploits.
This really seemed like it was a TO based decision. From what it really sounded like with the announcement and everything else, like kind of reading between the lines a little bit, it really sounded like to me that the TO went, I don't think we can logistically get around this. There's a 9-mile long queue because that's what Brits do. And they were just all walking through there. So we'd have to reroute everything and yada, yada, yada. We need to move this date. And then the ultimate irony is that the date they moved it to is the date of the London Marathon, which also runs through the same fucking route. But it was, I think that LSS did the right thing when there was an uproar initially. And like I said, there was a snap decision. They sent out a poll via email to qualified players, and they took the result and went, okay, most people want this back. Let's move it back. And then the classy thing they did is they're sending like a care package or sending out some stuff to people who were financially impacted, because that did happen where people canceled their stuff because they had a 6-hour window to cancel it before they were locked in and couldn't get refunded. And then they canceled and had to rebook at a higher price because they canceled their stuff. And so I think LSS helping to take care of those people is the right thing to do by, that's an easy PR win to try to get around this. But I don't really put this all at the feet of LSS either. I think that this was TO originated, honestly.
Yeah, the
easy solution is just cancel the monarchy, eat the rich, and this will never have happened.
Imagine voting for your leaders,
We barely do that. You realize that we're talking shit, but we barely fucking do that.
Yeah, Google gerrymandering, and it's the most abstract Picasso-like drawings you'll ever see in your life.
Guys, I live in Ohio. There are 4 districts at my corner. Okay, I don't know where. I could throw a stone and hit 4 different voting districts. All right, my wife, for one point, we lived a mile away. We voted on different sides of the fucking city. Okay, before we moved in together, so I know all about this shit. I'm a big proponent of abolishing the monarchy and taxpayer funded billionaires. So, yay.
Yeah.
Reading the announcement from LSS, it seems like they were not on board with the announcement the way it came out. They literally said, for absolute clarity, the UK National Championships is still taking place this weekend, and there's been some confusion around the announcements that were made. So that does very much seem like a, hey, please don't shoot us. We didn't know. So,
well, they probably stopped and remembered that's not U.S. nationals, so the odds of getting shot were much lower.
Much lower. Yeah, you'd actually go to jail.
Are they being held in a high school or?
Oh,
jeez,
sorry, I'm sorry.
I get to make that joke. All right.
Okay, look, I can say these things on this podcast. On my podcast, I cannot. I am like, it's a whole different thing. It's like no, you guys don't have Mr. Dress Up. That's a Canadian thing.
What the fuck is a Mr. Dress Up?
What the hell is that?
It was like he was kind of like our Canada's. We had Mr. Rogers, but he was like Canada's version of Mr. Rogers as well. We had a bonus Mr. Rogers.
Oh, okay.
You had an even nicer Mr. Rogers. How is that possible?
Well, he was like a Canadian Mr. Rogers.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but Mr. Rogers is a legend. Ultimately, when I'm on my podcast, it's like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. When I come over here, it's like freaking Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Correct.
Yeah, you can make shooting jokes when the Canadian dollar is higher than 75% of the dollar's worth. How about that? All right, it's soccer, bitch. I had to Google the exchange rate really quick to make that joke. All right, other national championships besides the UK's happened this weekend, including Canada, which you already talked about briefly. Croatia, Bulgaria, Czechia, Finland, Italy, Portugal, Romania, Spain, all happened over the weekend. So, Matt, take us through Canada. That's the one I followed most closely, being in the Eastern time zone and being on Twitch very accessibly. So take us through the Canadian National Championship.
Yeah, it was one that I was very excited for. I'd qualified for it. I was very excited to play in it. Casting it was my first choice. That did not pan out. The people who did cast did an excellent job for all 13 hours of day one.
Walk me through that.
Walk you through it?
Yeah, well, not in 13 hours. We only have about an hour left.
We only have an hour, so.
Well, look, okay. All right, so essentially the 13 hours of day one were, I will say this, I'm going to come at this from a point of positivity as much as I can. This one was noticeably better than the previous Nationals. The last year's Nationals were, and I haven't been to many tournaments, but friends of mine like Dave Root or whatever who have been playing in massive tournaments for decades said that it was probably a top 3 worst tournament that they've ever attended in their life. That said, this room was spacious, clean. Bathrooms were clean and accessible, which is always a big thing. It just took forever. And in the discussions that we've had prior to this, like when I was negotiating, trying to perhaps cast it, when we're talking, you're talking dollars and cents here, and they're throwing money at you, and you're saying, well, that doesn't make sense because I'm going to be working for 10 or 10 plus hours. And they're like, no, it's going to be 8. And I was like, my friend, you, my sweet summer child, like I appreciate your optimism and such, but 8 hours or whatever. And that wasn't the argument or the conversation I want to have. Ultimately, those two individuals, Frank and Rob, were great. And again, kudos to them because they were at it. They were probably at the venue by 8:30. And they were probably done casting by like 9 or 9:30 p.m. So easily a 12 to 13 hour day for them. Were there breaks? Yeah, there was a 1 hour pizza break where we all kind of lined up like a soup kitchen and got our 2 slices of pizza. And it was but again, you couldn't have more than 2 slices. It was 2 and that was it. You couldn't have more.
Oh, that explains your tweet to me today about you get 300 grams of pizza and you'll like it. That explains that.
That's a Canadian bread line.
Yeah, so the distributor, I think it was Prince, sponsored the pizza, and I am very grateful for that as well, because, again, they don't have to do these things, and they did, and that's awesome. I have every appreciation for any tournament organizer who is putting up, the green to make these things happen. 13 hours on day one, listen, it is what it is, and you struggle through it, you grind through it. There was a lot of hurry up and wait, but again, it was spacious. The people that were there were nice. The judge crew were great. There was only one vendor. There wasn't, and one little table with cards and whatnot. But apart from that, it was like I don't know, man. Like my experience was my own experience, and I'm gonna sort of, that's a private conversation. But ultimately, the side events were very disappointing. There was nothing about prize. Like the other thing about Canadian Nationals is that a lot of people don't know is that if you go to the site yesterday or 2 days ago or even last week to go check out what the pricing is, the pricing that was listed last week wasn't the pricing that was listed a month ago when this was announced. The pricing a month ago was like no cash prizes. There was nothing. You get product. So if you top 8, you're getting like a case of cards or 6 boxes or something, and your gold foil. Whereas if you top 8 in the US, you're getting what, like at least $1,000, $2,000.
Yeah, you get $10,000 is the prize pool, I think.
Yeah, so you're getting something nice, and so they're giving cases of uprising or boxes of uprising, and again, they don't have to, and they did. But what bothered me also was the fact that a lot of the side events didn't have prizes listed. Like you go to the site to say, oh, what's available? Like what are the things? Like, oh, I can do a draft for $20, or I can do a sealed, for $20 or $30 or whatever. But what's the prize out? Like, what's the payout? You don't know. It didn't list. It said prizes to be determined. It's like, okay, I don't even know if I want to do it. The other thing was that there was a history box sealed event. And the history box sealed event, I was already very skeptical of because it was a $300 price tag. And you might say, well, $300 price tag sounds great because if you pre-register for it, everybody who joins gets a playmat. So I'm like, okay, if the playmats are like $30 a piece, then you're up to like 300. The box is maybe $120. So you're like $200 of value. You're paying $300, but you're getting prizes. So yeah, you're probably paying a little over the top for it, maybe, or whatever.
Sure.
But you're not, because if you wanted the playmat, you had to have pre-registered like a couple weeks ago. But if you're pre-registering a couple weeks ago, that means that you're probably not day 2ing, or you're suspecting that you're not going to day 2. So
right.
So think about that, right? So you're not getting the playmat because nobody pre-registered, because everybody was at the tournament to play and at least have the confidence that because there was no cuts. Everybody gets day 2, so everybody wanted to play day 2. And then they started the sealed event at like 1, and okay, so once we've got all past that, they did the sealed event after the top 8 was announced. So they're like, okay, we're going to start the sealed event. The sealed event was $300 to enter. The prize was 1 cold foil IRA, which has significant cash value, but you have one card to split amongst 3 people. So you're obviously going to sell it, or you're on the hook to pay out your 2 other players or whatnot.
Snap like decision. Do you want the top third, middle third, or bottom third? You get
correct.
Which one do you want?
Yeah, no, I want the foiling layer. You get the back, and I'll get the art. Yeah. So, but it was that. It was like that episode of The Simpsons where they get radioactive man number 1, and there's the 3 of them, like Milhouse, Martin, and like, what do we do?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but the other thing about it was that it was a single elimination bracket. So you might pay $300, crack a box, and play 1 blitz game, and then you're done.
What?
So, yeah. And then, unfortunately, time ran out, and they were kicking us out of the they were kicking them out of the venue. So there was no winner. So it was an IRA that was split between the 2 top teams. So 6 people splitting 1 cold foil IRA.
What?
Everyone else got nothing. They got their box. So, and that's how that, and again, like, I had absolutely 0 interest in the side events. I don't think there was much action in the side events. I could be wrong. Again, I was busy worrying about, nationals and this and that. But to compliment Sandwich this, the judge staff were very kind. They were very nice. They were very attentive. The venue was spacious and decent, and that's how I will end it. And again, my personal record and my personal experiences, I'm going to keep private, but ultimately I think that my disappointment was more so along, and I don't mean to monopolize this conversation here, but I need to say this because it's fresh in my mind, because I literally got off a train from Ottawa like a few hours ago to get home. And what really bothered or hurt me the most was that I can't be, and I am not, the only one who is trying to legitimize this game in this country, because we have so many of the world's top players. We've got the Tariks, the Dave Roods, the Isaac Krutz, the Yuki Lee Benders, like this wicked roster of awesome players. No callings, no battle hardens, no nothing, because when we do get the big show, it kind of falls flat. And the whole thing that was spoken to me when we were negotiating my involvement with the tournament was that this tournament was meant to be, they're like, we want to put this, put Canada on the map. We want to get callings. We want to show that we've got what it takes, put on a big show, and really drive it home that, like we mean business. And I'm like, yeah, damn right. Let's do this. Absolutely. And then that. So again, for what went well, it went well. For what I was disappointed about, others might not be disappointed about it. Others might not even give a shit. But ultimately, to me, it was a missed opportunity to land, like if that was knocked out of the park, it's like, damn right, we'll put a calling in Toronto. We'll put a calling in Vancouver. We'll put a calling in, Winnipeg or Calgary or Montreal or wherever. Like, there's so many places you can put and have a beautiful time. But it just seemed like this was a swing and a miss.
I could tell this was going to be very downhill as soon as the first thing you complimented was the cleanliness of the bathrooms. If that's where we're starting.
They were very clean. They were absolutely very clean.
I'm glad that you found a place that you were happy to piss in. That's all I can say.
And again, let me please just reiterate the fact that I am always immensely appreciative, because, not everybody is going to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to putting this on. And I understand that these things cost money. But it still bothers me that, you try to sell it to certain people as this being like a coming out party for the game in Canada, and that this is meant to be a spotlight and a big deal. But then, like the way I described it, I was like, this was not a celebration of the game. This wasn't meant for the community. This felt like just a tournament. It felt like just, run of the mill cookie cutter, like kind of thing. And in a few days, I go to Worlds where I go to US Nats where it's going to be a whole different ballgame. Like all I could think about was, I'm like, hey, I'm on a plane in like 5 days, and I'm going to be in Charlotte, and I'm going to see what a real tournament looks like.
Yeah, no, you will.
Yeah, that's why he's the best in the business, because the next thing on our show notes is the discussion of U.S. Nationals. But before we go on to that real quick, results wise from the rest of the weekend across the world, Briar picked up 30 Living Legends points, bringing itself up to 872. So we are still in the ball game for Briar being dead at the next ban and suspension announcement, but probably not. And Oldhim picked up the most points, but that one's not going to happen. He's only sitting at 308. So we might be looking at our world's meta, which looks pretty good. These top 8s are so open and diverse. I don't want to test for it because that's a lot of work with how open the meta is, but from a viewer perspective, it's sweet. Is it sweet from the casting side, Matt, of like there's always good matches to put on? You don't have to put on Bravo versus Kano every round?
I am so... I just rub this into every other card game player or person that I have from other card games and such. Like, like Gwent, like my old Gwent crew and Legends of Runeterra friends and Magic friends and Hearthstone friends or whatever. I'm like, dude, like our top 8 is like 6 different heroes. Like our, this top 8 was like 5 different heroes. This top 8 was 7 different heroes. Like it's bananas, and it changes so differently because everybody is so in tune with what happened last. Like it's a very what have you done for me lately kind of meta. You look at the last results and you adjust and things change. And I suspect that Oldhim is probably the best deck out there, but it's not invincible, and there are things that can exploit it. And then there are those who are going to exploit the exploiters, etc. Yep. Because think of like Rhinar. Rhinar is a nice little remedy to Oldhim. And there were Rhinars that saw a lot of success. And if those Rhinars know what they're doing and were able to navigate some of the tougher matchups, let's say, then they were spot on. And I'm very, very happy with how this looks. And on the casting side, this is a dream come true because you're not worried. Our biggest worry typically is like, okay, we need to get the interesting matches in early because later on it's going to be Briar, Oldhim, Briar, whatever, like how it used to be. So let's get the unique stuff in first. Now it's a whole different ball game. We might get a Phi Icelander matchup. We might get a Oldhim Dromai. We might get a Dromai Icelander. Like it's beautiful. Like there's so much going on.
Dash.
Yeah, Dash and Viserai both completely viable.
One of the cool things about
won UK Nats, didn't it?
Was it Vis?
I think it was Viserai that won UK, right?
Yeah, we can just go.
It was whoever it was. It was against Matt Folks.
Yeah, Spain.
Right.
Spain.
Oh,
Viserai won Spain.
That's right, against Pablo.
It beat Pablo in the finals. Yeah. The cool thing is there are 16 heroes in the format right now, right, including like dogs like Azalea. 11 of the 16. Sir. 11 of the 16 were in the top 8, and 10 picked up Living Legends points this weekend. Like, wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's gorgeous. That is beautiful. That is amazing. And I'm again, I think I mentioned this to James. I just said, I'm like, dude, like it's incredible. It's incredible because it's not about just the deck list. The deck list isn't winning the tournaments. The players are winning the tournaments. And that is what that in itself is people might complain about balance. They might complain about this or that, but if the good players are figuring stuff out, it doesn't mean that they've solved a meta. They may have solved it within, it's a moving target. Like you may hit the bullseye, right, but if you shoot in the same spot the next week, that bullseye is a mile down the road and you need to adjust. So it's the players that are, and the preparation that is really dictating what is winning these tournaments.
Yeah, I really like the storylines that come out of a guy like Tarek Patel winning his second national champion, being the dual belt holder.
Yeah, he has to go to Mexico so he can own the entire North American continent.
Gotta
make the rules.
Yeah, just got to do it. Yeah. U.S. Nats is this weekend. Flake, you're commentating it. Logan, you're playing in it. I'm calling it up on Saturday. This is going to be a pretty exciting weekend for a bunch of reasons. It's the biggest Living Legends points weekend, so 100 points here puts Briar on the pedestal of death, potentially. The meta is as wide open as it's ever been, like we just talked about. Not a ton to talk about here, except for just that it's happening, and this is in our Logan and I's backyard, and pretty exciting. Anything you guys wanted to talk about with US Nats? Anything you're particularly excited about?
Charlotte is not my fucking backyard.
Well, I guess what you meant it's domestic as opposed to the
sure.
European person here.
Yeah, well,
I know you're not European.
Wait, he's not European. The fuck?
I know.
we need to have.
They're a Commonwealth country. They're a Commonwealth country. Everybody that's under the Queen.
They're all royalists in Canada, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
but you guys like lit the country on fire to just break away. We're like, hey, can we go? And they're like, yeah.
It's like that we had to do that so you guys could start. Okay, don't.
Yeah, it's like we're leaving. It's like, okay, that was always allowed. We're like, all right,
the Rick and Morty bit.
Yeah, exactly. From Jerryland, he just leaves.
Yeah.
Yep, that was always allowed.
That was always allowed. Yep. I'm like, okay, that was basically how we left the Commonwealth. Like, and we're like, well, we can print new money with new faces on it, but like, why? Like, it's already here. We already have it.
Yeah, I'm excited for Nationals personally. Getting to play into it is going to be great. I'm trying to figure out which one of my dice is more loaded than the other, so I can win some dice rolls in Uprising Draft. But as that is the defining skill cap for that event, for that format, it seems like. And but then I think that you're right. It's going to be a lot of fun to play a diverse meta game with a bunch of different decks in it. I'm very hopeful that there's not a ton of Icelander versus Oldhim going to well past time type situations. So we're not there till I become even older and grayer. There is beer to be drank, and I would like to achieve that at some point in time. But it's going to be fun, and that's the thing is the U.S. community is very much so family-like, where we all just end up in the same place, and it is a blast because the humans involved are fun. And that's kind of the biggest thing I'm looking for.
I want to give a big shout out now that you mentioned draft to the people at my draft pod who were passing the cards to me and fanning them out, dragons and all. So when I was drafting Dromai, it was completely obvious for all those who saw the Dromai, saw the dragon double-faced card in front of me and then didn't see it when the things passed by. First of all, I don't know. I am 100% locked and loaded. I force Dromai almost every single time, and I get rewarded every single time. Dromai, I think, in my opinion, is the best hero to pick in draft. It's obscene. If you can throw 8 for 2, if you can throw like a 5 go again, and an 8, it's obscene how good how good. Don't take like rakes and dragons I don't say they're traps. They're good to have, but just the Centipies are like, just drafting those is a winning deck. It's ridiculous.
2 mana, half your life total's above rate, right? Like, yeah.
I think usually your problem with that, or that I've in my experience, is that the number of Dromais a table can support is sometimes feels very low. So hopefully you're in it early and you're on the opposite side of the table.
Yeah, but again, when the people who are tossing signals around like they're landing planes on like an aircraft carrier, like it's fine. Right. Like I know, because they're like, oh, passing this dragon. They're like doing this whole thing, like you know, and I'm like, all right, I guess none of you 4 are Dromai because I just picked up a Tomotai pick 5. Like that's fine. That'll do it. We're good. Yeah, I'm like, all right, signals met. We're all right. Perfect. No, we're not crossing any frequencies here. I gotcha. We're good. And then you'll figure it out. You're like, oh, there's like 4 Icelanders here. Like, we're good. Thank you. Yeah, 4 Icelanders, 3 Fis, and Mr. Dromai. Yeah. Love it.
Awesome. If that's where you're ending up, that feels amazing, honestly.
It was great. Loved it.
Jesus.
So we got details about the October Armory kit that's coming out. These are usually pretty unremarkable from like, we don't talk a ton about these on our show, but they actually included some Dynasty spoilers in them. 2 cards got spoiled, one of which is a hero. Yoji the Royal Protector, and I gotta scroll in and get my mouse because these are cards for ants. And Blessing of Aether is a wizard action aura that was printed. Quick hit on Yoji the Royal Protector. It looks like it's a once per turn instant, 3 resources. If damage would be dealt to another target hero, that damage gets dealt to Yoji instead, and then you can prevent 1 of that damage. It starts at 4 intellect, and the life is blurred out. Yeah. So that's a PvE card if I've ever seen one.
That is a tank. That is literally the concept of tanking. So yes,
I'm liking these playmats though. These playmats are pretty.
What is an edict? Like that, I want to know what that card is.
Yeah.
What is it? What does it do? Like I don't know yet.
It just
Imperial
looks like
Edict.
it legitimately looks like the dude is saying, and you will split the cold foil Ira 6 ways. You will tear it asunder into 6 equal parts.
Let's get this flavor
that
text
story
going.
about like the guy's like, you know what, we're just gonna rip it in half, and whoever seems the most upset actually gets the whole cold foil era.
Should you choose pepperoni, you will have 1 slice. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
300 grams, baby.
Exactly. You will place the pizza on the scale. Any tomfoolery will be met with a swift beheading. Yeah,
You know, I feel like Fox News is gonna. I feel like Fox News is going to use that as an argument against socialized healthcare. like, look what happens when taxes are used for healthcare.
You're gonna have a guy in the ER with his head in his lap, being like, "These wait times are ridiculous."
It's probably on Newsmax right now. Yeah. Canadian citizen advocates beheading for pizza thievery.
Yeah, and then it's going to cut to like Ted Cruz saying, "I'm Ted Cruz, and I approve this message." It's like, what? How? Hi?
Joe Biden, am I right? All right. The other card that was, the Blazing Ether, you said?
A Blessing of
Ether. What card? Blessing of Ether. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's an aura. At the start of your turn, you destroy it, and the next card you play on this turn, if it deals arcane damage, instead it deals that much plus 3 for the red, 2 for the yellow, 1 for the blue. So your next arcane thing gets... Sorry, I read it like an absolute animal. Let me pull up the actual card. At the start of your turn, destroy Blessing of Aether. Then, if the next card you play this turn has an arcane damage effect, instead it deals that much arcane damage plus 3. 3 for the red, 2 for the yellow.
That seems like such a really good setup card for a whole bunch of dumb shenanigans. Like these Icelander lists that look to drop 3 frost hexes and then create, like, you know, if for X amount of damage, create X amount of frostbite tokens, and then the frost hexes do the rest. This feels like it's a nice little preamble to that nonsense, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, because it doesn't. So this only affects your turn. So on your opponent's turn, when you normally would like to be playing, this card doesn't do anything.
Yeah, but you want to be... I feel like you want to be doing the frost hex damage on their turn. Or sorry, on your turn. Or is it on your turn?
No, it's at the end of their turn.
Yeah, that way they have no way to respond to it. No, I'm a doofus. Don't listen to me.
But no, I think there is a salient point here where, one, Kano is going to like to do this, like to just as a go off on their own turn. And the blue is actually playable in Icelander. Because I can't tell, but I think it only blocks for 2. But at the same time,
red only blocks for 2, so yes.
Yeah. So at the same time, it's a blue that you get to play out and then get extra arcane damage on your turn if you have that going for you. It's not an ice card, but it does do a thing still. And I wonder how
I guess your waning moon becomes 4, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, your waning moon becomes 5 if it's red.
Right.
And yep.
Well, yeah, or 6 on your. Oh no, does it?
You can never deal your opponent's turn.
It's only on your turn. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So the biggest that it can get is 5, which is still pretty fucking big. So if you just pops, you Arctic Incarceration them and then Waning Moon them, that's a 5-ball and 3 frostbites for your.
There's a lot of juice to this card for both of our wizards.
There are 3 wizards, sir. The Emperor is also a wizard.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the 2 wizards. So you. Fun fact: we just got more updates on Yoji. Actually, just live news, breaking news. Boop, 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 boop. The young Yoji has 22 health.
I think it's only young because he has a title.
Young heroes have titles?
Oh, if a young hero has a title, they do not have an adult hero. So Kasai, Centauri Soulsword, does Benji the Piercing Wind.
Gotcha. You're right. You're right.
MK, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, MK
all those
30 or some shit. Yeah, gotcha.
Yep.
So yeah, this is so I guess PvE is gonna be based off of the young hero pool, and then so 22 health on Yoji, which tracks with the tank mechanic that you were mentioning.
Yep.
I like this. I like
extra bite in the ass.
Yeah, I like the split here of PvE cards and PvP cards. I just like in general that like they're thinking about both, and the set will have all things for all people. So that's cool. I guess it's also an ultimate pit fight card, right?
I'm just excited for new cards, man.
Yeah, like Jordan hates spoilers though, so he's probably cringing right now.
Like, think
My
about
least
it.
favorite time of year.
We've been almost like we're approaching 3 months.
It's been
Yeah.
great.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
It
we were
does not
playing.
feel like 3 months.
Yeah, that was the last Realm event is when we got our hands on Uprising the first time, and so that was about that long ago.
Crazy.
And we call that, ladies and gentlemen, a segue.
Yeah, well
Boom.
done. Yeah, the last Brawl event happened when Uprising came out. The next Brawl event happens next month. Hey, and it is also a battle hardened. Flake, I know you're going to be there. Logan and I are going to be there. Abby's going to be there if she takes a break from being a corporate slave. We're, fuck her real job, So that's going to be awesome. We are running a giveaway for us. If you wanted to submit to us a short TikTok length video, like sub a minute, explaining why you love Flesh and Pod, that would be great. Your face doesn't have to be in it. Your name doesn't have to be in it. Just submit it to us via the Twitter or email or on our Discord. We have a few entries that are S tier. So
I laughed until I cried at one of them. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle, but please get
we
that
got to
in
show
there.
Matt that one.
Yeah,
Oh my
you
God.
can win a contest to the VIP Speakeasy Party. Food, drinks, drafts, good vibes to be had. That it is an over $100 value that you can win, and you should probably just do that.
$250.
Yeah, the VIP.
$250
Yeah, because we
value.
get to give away the juice ticket, right?
Yeah, we give away the juice ticket.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been trying to give away I don't want to, usurp this part of the conversation. I have been trying to give away that ticket. I have a contest as well. I have 0 entries in this contest. I have mentioned it in every episode, every show, every whatever I have possibly had. I've tweeted it. And I tell people, I'm like, if literally my contest is not even a minute video, it's Photoshop my face on a card and give it garbage text. Right? Like, it used to be like, hey, if you're creative and you create a hero that's based on me and my personality and what you think of me, whatever, I don't care if it's nice or naughty or whatever. I just want to see it. I'll put your name in a hat and I'll choose a winner or whatever. I have 0 entries. So it's like a freaking sure thing. And nobody wants to do it.
That's crazy.
So our listeners, there's another contest for you to fucking win.
Yes.
Go get that one. And enter both. Spread your opportunity out. Like,
use your cat's Twitter and make one for each of them,
Put bets on red and black. You can't lose.
You can't lose. Green,
there's 0 and 00 on the fucking. Never mind.
They don't know that. Not
They
in
don't know
this
that.
roulette table, baby.
Yeah, this is a house
So
table.
Canadian roulette is always a 50-50 split.
Ultimately, what I'm getting at here is everybody should be going to this event anyways. This is just extra, like you said, extra sprinkles if you want to get into the big show. And they're also talking about an alpha draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we got a message about that today.
This is
This
the
is
most
crazy.
simple thing ever. Buy a fucking playmat, and you get entered into a drawing to draft WTR Alpha for free. You do not have to pay any more money. And if your name gets drawn for this, you also get a free ticket into the Speakeasy Party. People.
Hello.
What are 3 packs of Alpha worth?
Probably about I'd say probably about 300, 350 per pack.
No, it's not per. But
No,
130 on eBay, just a random ad I pulled up.
They're about 2. If you buy a full box sealed, it's about 2,500, I think, right now. And so if you're breaking out loose packs, say there's going to be juice on them versus selling an entire sealed box. So yeah, about 130 sounds right.
So $300 value to be in the draft, and a $100 to $250 ticket to the VIP party. So you're looking at $600 of fucking value to buy a $30 playmat. That's a cool playmat anyway.
That's a cool
playmat.
playmat.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm buying. I already getting the playmat. I'm casting the event. I'm already at I have entry to the Speakeasy. I'm buying it anyways because I want in on that alpha draft. Yeah,
yep. I did. Yeah, I'm in.
So did Abby and I. Yep.
I'm admitted to the Speakeasy with a ticket already. Still bought the playmat because I want.
Hell yeah.
Alpha.
Absolutely. Plus, I just want to support Realm Games.
Yes.
Keith and Jacob are just awesome dudes, and they do a lot for the community, so they definitely deserve it, and they deserve this Battle Harden.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they let you know when they found out, which was still secret. They kind of just said, hey, by the way. And I was like, I cannot wait to put this on blast because you guys deserve it. So go Columbus. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, there's going to be again, the entire family will be there. That's the best part is, again, I love how it just feels like the entire family's showing up for the reunion, and Auntie Elaine's going to be drunk as shit. Let's go. So,
and this one's by my house, so I just get to sleep in my own bed instead of having an emergency by a hotel because things turned south on me quickly at the last one. So
it's true. It is. It's true. I forgot I get to sleep in your bed. That's gonna be sweet.
you know what, babe? It's totally fine. That's cool. You can.
I really don't know if Matt's arms are long enough for the reach around, but I'm willing to let him try.
Just hey, Keith comes to pick you up from your Airbnb, and it's me there, and he's like, "Wait, what happened?" It's actually Flake stayed at my house. I stayed at the Airbnb you paid for. I don't know why.
It's a double vacation, baby.
Yeah, we're doing it. Big Ten football. Wait, different thing.
Yeah, so there will be 6 names drawn from the entry into the alpha draft. So 6 of the people, and there's not that many. Right now, your odds to hit are huge. So
real good. I am doing myself and Flake a disservice by saying that you should do this because we're decreasing our own odds to encourage you to enter this.
Yeah.
This is true.
But I want you to enter this. I vote against my self-interest too, so all of this is just on brand. So,
and if you go to the speakeasy, I hear you get possibly 3 slices of pizza.
Whoa.
Way more than that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, hey, when we were there last time, that pizza that we had, I took one of those pizzas home. I put it in the trunk of my car and I drove it back to Toronto. I drove it 9 hours back to Toronto. When I was crossing customs, the dude at customs, and I have the Nexus Pass, the global entry,
the back and forth, yeah.
Yeah. So the dude's like, hey, how was your trip? I was like, good. I didn't mean to declare. I said, well, if you really want the honest answer, I have maybe, I opened a couple pack of playing cards and I have a large pizza in the trunk. He's like, is that a code for something? I said, I will pop the trunk right now. I'll give you a slice. It is probably the best pizza I've had in a long time. I was not going to abandon it. It's like, I trust you. Welcome home, son. I was like, let's go. Hauled ass and ate that pizza. It was amazing.
You know how I know you're actually the land of the free is if we said that shit at the border even with a U.S. passport, we are on the pavement and they are searching our car with dogs. There's no way they believe that. They're just like, this is a new 911. Please, absolutely not.
Damn right. Is this Applewood bacon? Is this Applewood bacon? AR-15 right up your sphincter. You're like, I don't know.
Yeah, then somebody on Fox News is saying that I should have just complied and not eaten the pizza or something. It's
exactly.
Just a disaster.
Exactly. I'm so free. God damn it. Oh my God. I'm so free.
All right. We have. Ew. See, I live with those people. I love that to you. It's this giant meme. I live with these people. Not live with them. Sorry. Abby is not one of them. Let me be more clear. I live adjacent to them.
Yeah. There you go.
We have a couple of listener questions that we're going to bang through quickly. Sleepy Jackal via Discord. So what's the number one thing you want to see LSS do with PvE products? This is relevant. Inversely, what's the number one thing that would keep you away from PvE products without question? Let's start with Logan. Quick hitter. What's one thing you want and one thing that you would be stayed away from? You would like LSS to stay away from?
With the product itself, I would like I think what they're doing great is it's a clear delineation. You can actually just tell when something's a UPF or PV product. It just makes sense. The thing they need to stay away from is printing cards for Classic Constructed specifically that would go into those decks into the PV product, forcing people to buy multiple copies and stuff like that to get these chase cards, quote unquote, that have a high impact in the PvP portion of the game. I think that they should avoid that. It's kind of like Magic did it when they started printing staples in Commander decks, where you need 4 True Name Nemesis. You have to buy 4 copies of this $55 deck in order to get them. Don't do that. Stay away from that. What you should do is what you're doing, which is keep it PvE centric and keep it level to the ground for that group of people, which is going to include me. To want to go in and have that fun kind of play against the whatever assassin or big bad experience. I think that'll be fun. So keep what you're doing. Do not start printing staples into that product.
Flake?
I'm notoriously terrible at balance and evaluating cards and stuff, and like PvE to me has always been something that I've had limited interest in until recently, where like the Runeterra PvE stuff really gripped me. Like I was going through a lot of airports and doing a lot of waiting and stuff, so I would play a lot of that on my phone, and I really liked it. Now, what I think about, like, I'm coming around on PvE, and the one thing that I will hope that is more so from the testing side on their end. I think that if they do come out with like these PvE or relatively such campaigns, that they are testing the viability of completing one of those campaigns or succeeding in whatever that mission is with only common cards. I think that is like, don't get me wrong, it shouldn't be a cakewalk with just common cards, but it should be doable, albeit rare and difficult and challenging to complete one of those things with just common cards. That way, you know that there's no barrier of entry that is, acquiring Majestics or Legendaries or whatever. If you can complete it, maybe not on your first time, maybe not on your fifth time, maybe not on your 10th time, but if you can complete it with just common cards, I think that it does testament, or that it's a good testament to the fact that it's it's a well done product. Obviously, you jam some E-strikes, some Command and Conquerors, you jam some a Tunic and whatever, and suddenly like everything seems a lot easier, obviously. But a lot of these players are not going to have all the rares or the Majestics or the legendary equipment. So why make this impossible? It should be challenging and difficult with the bare bones, but not impossible.
Yeah, those are both good points. I think for me that I'm excited to. I hope that they print like actual campaigns with these and not just a rule set. I would like to see like a driven, like the D&D starter kits that they have. I think that would be good. Like Matt and Logan both alluded to, I think if the product becomes a must buy, or you need expensive things to play it, or there are expensive things in it, both of those will drive me away. I would hope they don't print classic restricted legal cards in these products, period, just to alleviate any chance that like somebody finds, like maybe a Matt Folks finds a Promise of Plenty in one of these decks, and you're like, sweet Christ, like now these decks or now these kits are hundreds of dollars because a guy broke it for the Pro Tour. It's kind of something I'm worried about in the long run, but we'll have to wait and see. Those are expected in 2023. Last question, and we did have a couple other ones come in, but we're going to hold those till next week when Abby's here. Teague via Discord, what is the fab card that on first seeing it you thought this is complete trash, and later you realized you had never been more wrong? For me, it was Art of War. I just copied some deck list from online when I first started playing, bought copies of it, put it in the deck, and then didn't realize like the powerful effects that card had, A, like in the matchup period, or B, like in specific, like the card by itself, and then B, like with specific decks like Chain. Just completely blanked on my mind. I was like, yeah, this is like card plus one card most of the time, card neutral a lot of the time, like who cares? And then I was like, oh wait, this card's actually just fucking sick. So Art of War was my card. Logan, sorry.
We give Dagan a lot of shit for not being able to read. Jordan, Art of War is literally reading the card explains the card. What the actual fuck is wrong with your reading comprehension skills?
To be clear, I don't think that's true. I think banishing a card, playing a card, pitching a card to draw two cards is like you're negative one card. Like,
plus another effect on top of it.
Like, yeah, but again, like I don't think that inherently, like from a person that's playing the game for the first time, that's just like played the era starter decks or like a random blitz deck, plays that card for the first time, can instantly see the value and the power. Like I looking at the point of this question is absurd answers. Like the spirit of the question isn't like, I saw Promise of Plenty and then I realized it's really good if you hit them with it and you don't have an arsenal. Like, fuck off. Like, that's not what the question's about. Like little. Reading the card explains the card. Fucking Iowa people, I sort of get.
Hey, I'm all for
embarrassing, but whatever.
I would love to actually just jump on that, like, and continue to shit on Jordan. That seems like a really wonderful merry-go-round that I will.
Welcome to Flush and Pod. We have a seat for you.
Yeah. Look, for me, it was 2 cards from the exact same set. It was Tales of Aria, and it's Spellbound Creepers and Crown of Seeds. When I saw Crown of Seeds, I was like, this is stupid. Like, why is this a big deal? You know, like, why is this at all a good card? And then you pair it with something like Tunic, where you create these 5-card hands of just explosive amounts of nonsense. You also, and then Spellbound Creepers. To me, Spellbound Creepers, again, yeah, read the card, explains the card. Tell me that you can understand that on like first go and be like, all right, somebody had to literally explain it to me a million times. Same thing with like that chain specialization, like it's that 6 attack that like
or no, you're talking about the never mind, you're the 6 attack one.
Yep. Yeah, I have every time I played that, like when I started learning chain way back when, every time I played that card, like 4 times in a row, the person who was teaching me the deck was like, read it again. I'm like, oh my God, I could banish more and create. And they're like, yeah, you can banish 2 if you want. I'm like, oh, that's great. Read it again. I'm creating resources by banishing this. Read it again. What, it has go again? Like, it was just the most absurd thing. Now, that was always good. Yeah. I just didn't read the card. So I understand where Jordan's coming from and his, like, I get it. You're from the States and, you all read at a grade 3 level. Like, that's basically. That said, Crown of Seeds and Spellbound Creepers, to me, I thought were absolutely, like, they absolutely paled in comparison to New Horizon, and Shock Charmers was ahead of it in terms of and obviously Rampart of the Ram's Head to me was the biggest impact card I felt in terms of legendaries. Heart of Ice, I was like, okay, that's interesting, but I had my tier list was like Rampart. I think Stalagmite was in that set. No,
that's Neverfest.
That was Everfest. So I had Rampart, New Horizons, Shock Charmers. Then I had Spellbound Creepers, I had like Crown like all the way at the bottom. And I was absolutely completely wrong, because now we know that Crown of Seeds is such an important engine piece to Oldhim and then Starvo prior to that. And Creepers does some absolutely like some weird wizardry and some sorcery related nonsense that wins games. So
now it's time for me to embarrass myself. Katsu.
Like the hero?
The hero.
Have you read the card, Logan?
Yeah. Because like I was thinking, like, what? I have to like get rid of a card to go like get something.
Yeah, Demonic Tutor's always been bad for sure.
Well, I didn't understand the combo mechanic at all. Like at all. I was just like, so what the? But I can't get multiple pieces. I can only get one piece, so I can't. Like, what good is this? Oh, you just jam as much of the combos as possible. Okay, well, this makes way more sense now. I'm a fucking moron. I also had the same problem with Soul Reaping as Matt did. I sat there and would like have these like, okay, well, this is an okay turn. I can banish this seeds to play this, and then I can play the seeds. Staring at a hand of like 3 seeds and a Soul Reaping, and then it was like, God, I wish this was better. And then my buddy that I was playing with is like, you had a hand of all Seeds of Agony. Why don't you just banish them all? I'm like, wait, what? Hold on. What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, literally. It went 4 times. Read it again. Oh my God. It was like finding, like you like do a playthrough of a video game. Like you thought you completely, like literally I had 97% on that video game on Soul Reaping. And every time I felt like I eventually put a bomb next to like that wall that has a little crack in it, and it exploded, and I found like an extra room of gems and stuff. I was like, oh my God, like there's more. And then you finish the game and you think you're at 100, but you're only at 98. You're like, oh my God, there's more. Like it was basically that every single time.
Yeah, I was very confused. Jesus.
I think combo is one of those things that took me a while too, because when you first start, if you don't know the lines, like leg tap into whatever, into McGinty, into Lord of the Winds, like they're just words, right? Yeah, like Cats is one of the first decks that it was one of the first decks that I played when I first started playing too. And was like, these are just words. I'll never remember these combo lines. This game will be dead in a week and a half anyway. It's fine.
I love it. This is like Jordan reading his vows. These are just words. It doesn't matter. This marriage is going to be dead in a week anyway.
Statistically, we're 50% to fail. Yeah. I already pre-filed the divorce papers. They're ready for you to sign, just in case. Exactly. Just in case.
I'm going to banish my prenup to draw some.
It's closer to my wedding than I would like. All right, get me out of here. We're gonna do a special shout out to our patrons, our executive producers and up. We would appreciate it if you joined our Patreon and joined this crew. There's some pretty sick rewards in there. Curly the FAP gift bag comes with hand lotion and a candle, and I'm just kidding. It comes with a booster pack and a thank you note from us and some stickers. And Logan looking at me. What's that?
I will send hand lotion.
Yeah, whatever it gets you to do. We actually can't. The $10 ones, not in the budget. Alan B, Ben M, Corey S, Kenny, May L, Philip P, Taylor A, Ed M, Nick D, Joshua L, Michael B, Ricky K, Teague W. Thank you very much for your support at that tier. Link to the Patreon is down in the show notes. Matt, where can people find you on the internet? What have you been up to? Tell people where they can get more Matt DiMarco in case they somehow don't know.
Well, until this gets me canceled, you can find me at WatchFlake on Twitter. My podcast is the Instant Speed Podcast, where we bring on people from the community, LSS insiders, if you will, I guess, and just people within the Flesh and Blood realms to discuss topics and showcase the awesome people that are making the game what it is. And I stream on Twitch now. I stream Talishar on Twitch a few days a week. Have fun there. So that's twitch.tv/WatchFlake. And that's about it, honestly. I mean, you can check out the Discord, all this other stuff. And yeah, that's basically it.
Logan?
You can find me at Logan Peterson on Twitter, tweeting about gambling and Flesh and Blood. That's about it. Because that's basically all I do, is I gamble and I play this game. Well, I talk about it more than I play it, I think, anymore. But either way, or find me in the Discord. The link will be in the show notes to join our Discord. The discussions get out of hand. There is a channel for everything. Beer, pickles, cooking. There is a pickle channel, yes, because Auntie Elaine is just a fucking handful. And so it's a lot of fun in there. Everybody has a good time. There's either like a really good discussion going, a really good discussion pending, or just a lot of fucking nonsense, which is what we really do specialize in. So please come in, be unhinged, have a good time, be respectful, but, be you. That's what we want. We want people to come in, be genuine with us, and come hang out with us. That's what we're about. We are a podcast of the people. Jordan?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at I'm Jerman. Please also follow the Twitter for the podcast at FleshPod. Logan does a lot of cool work over there. I tweet a lot about sports and a lot about gambling, and as well as Logan, we were both in the same sports betting league this year, so we're posting our picks in our Discord. He's been doing really well, better than me. And the Cricket World Cup starts soon, so there's gonna be some hot T20 action. I got to get up at midnight to watch some of those games. But hey, we're a degenerate, and that's what degenerates do. But I will be at Nationals, so please come say hi to me at Nationals. I desperately want to meet the people that, there are not two more approachable people than Logan and Flake in terms of people to go up to. I think, Logan, you described me as a tomcat recently, and I've actually been using that to describe myself. Where I'll warm up to you. I'm just a little awkward guy in public. I just a little shy guy. My dad's gonna be at Nationals, so you're gonna get to meet Papa Kennedy.
There it is, PK,
the old PK, Father Amgerman.
Okay.
There's some religious undertones there that
there
I don't want to
really was.
Yeah. Right after we talked about lotions and me sleeping in your
candles,
bed, don't want to meet Father Imgerman.
Yeah, you actually come over to what you think is lotion up and jump in my bed, and it's actually to tell you about my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This is a Christian Minecraft podcast. So
what the fuck? I did not sign up for that.
But anyway, please, if this didn't turn you off, consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, or if your app can review us, please do so. We'd greatly appreciate it. Check us out on all the things. I don't know what Abby usually says here, so have a great week. God bless you. Goodbye.
Damn it.